YouTube family? I did a video earlier, bruh, talking about the Los Munna situation and all that. But one thing we got to clarify, there's a lot of videos and a lot of bloggers, and I think for a good reason. They're saying that Los Munna allegedly told or allegedly being protected. So we looked at the paperwork to clarify this and see if all this was real. You feel me? This is the paperwork they're showing out there. And before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, let's pay some bills right quick. Los Munna, thorough dude, original member, you feel me? Dedicated, depended on. Well, he's being accused of certain things like giving statements and a whole lot. Remember, all these are allegedly until we see proof he even did that. Let's get that disclaimer out the way. But what they is showing is things like this. Now let's read this together. You know what I'm saying? And that's the paperwork that bloggers are posting. They even had it to the point where Dirk earlier removed himself from Instagram, but he's back on Instagram. When I checked today, I see that Dirkio is back. But during that time span, he had removed himself on Instagram. I mean, I know I remove myself on Instagram when certain things get hot, but I ain't gonna go deep on that. But we could read between the lines. Now, what happened is, you feel me? Moonwap situation got hectic too because they're all defendants. When your co-defendant make a fumble on the play, you all suffer. Now, it's just activities in this violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 924C IA counts 5 and 7. The discovery to be provided by the government in this case includes sensitive information whose unrestricted decimation could adversely affect law. And I can't read the rest because the source had blocked the part, and this is include materials involving or identifying any confidential source that may have cooperated with the government during the course of its investigation. I mean, that doesn't say Los Munna at all, but it does says there are people talking, bruh. There are people in this case saying way too much for knowledge. Now, let's carry on. It says include materials involving identities. You know what I'm saying? Sources who may have cooperated with the government during the course of its investigation. The government has discussed and proposed, the proposed protective order with counsel for defendants who agreed to entry of the proposed order. Jesus Christ, bruh. Somebody agreed with it. I don't read Los Munna name, but I'm guessing people are saying it's Los Munna because that's the prominent one. But all these guys went through the court system for this alleged situation. So, you feel me? It's one of them flip a torrent cars. But I mean, I guess people narrowing it down to Los Munna. I'm trying to be a good journalist by telling you this does clearly show that some of the folks is speaking with Jakes, bruh. So 12 got them already. For all the people who want to call people on the news snitches, bloggers who's just reading public information that's already out there, y'all calling them rat. You doing the 12 job. Well, it look like your favorite rappers is out here, you feel me, in a Kensayada with these 12s, bruh. Like, it's spooky. The government respectfully moves this court to enter the proposed protective order. Respectfully submitted. Damn, bruh. Like, so without a doubt, y'all seen some of the things, and you enablers, you don't want to call it out. And I feel you, bruh. It's a lot of situations going on, and it's a lot of the members you like. Like, we want to see everybody win in these situations. You feel what I'm saying? So I hope none of this is actual truth. I'm hoping what we're seeing here is a blurred vision and a blurred line, bruh. It's just other things becoming to come soon that's not, you know what I'm saying, what we think it is. So Los Munna will have his day to speak to us. You feel me? Not that he needs to, but a lot of people know he needs to. Like, not in a way to get in trouble because it's a feds case. You don't need to be saying nothing right now till this case gets shaken and y'all get some type of light. You feel me? But even if it's almost a year later, he has to say something eventually. And I'm pretty sure he's going to say something. He's going to respond. You feel me? Maybe quietness in this case might be a good thing, but it's also spooky too, bro. What if Los Munna did cooperate? What if it's not Los Munna? What if it's one of the other guys? y'all mind's definitely gonna be blown then too. Pause. You feel me? It's like unexpected turns in this case got you thinking like, what the hell going on? Like, you don't know which side of the factor to look at this situation. It's not an easy one too. You could look at it at the angles that you've seen it. It's a whole lot going on, man. And my situation with this is just that Los Munna name is in a whole lot of stuffs because I think people are easier to say his name based on their feelings of who's gonna fold, who's not. Because when you hear Muwap and see what Muwap allegedly got going, you feel like Muwap is, you feel me? He's more suited and booted for this situation as far as Muwap looked like one of these guys who doesn't fold, one of these members who's out here and being, you know, trill and solid. So it's easy for people to say what they're saying. I mean, just be honest with you, bruh. I mean, when Durkio got to delete his Instagram momentarily, because he's back on Instagram again, but momentarily he has to delete it. I mean, people advising allegedly things you need to do, or maybe Dirk just wanted to. We ain't gonna get deep into that because we don't want none of these guys to be indicted. You feel me? This whole thing smells like, man, they about to get some more fish out that water, bruh. I hope niggas could swim, bruh. They about to get more fishes out the water. Unfortunately, bruh, it's up and down situation. You got a lot of players allegedly that might be involved according to how the feds and them is moving, what they putting out there paperwork wise. You feel me? In fact, speaking paperwork wise, before I go back to, you feel me, Los Munna, I need to read the same paperwork to y'all again to see if I'm the one tweaking or not. Now let's read those allegations. Now this ain't 5 men was alleged to be members of a street gang. We already know they look at them as a street gang. That's like one indictment against you right there. I'm not out here to judge gangs or not. I'm telling you what it is with these folks. So they called y'all 5 alleged members of a street gang. They've been charged in last year's murder of Chicago rapper FBG Duck, according to a federal indictment that was unsealed last Wednesday. You feel me? Now the men charged Liggins, known as C Murder, who's 30 years old, Kenneth Robertson, who's known as Kenny and Kenny Mack, 28. To Carlos Offord, you know, Los Munna we talking about here, 30 years old. Christopher Thomas, who's also known as C-Thang, 22. Marcus Smart, not the one for the Celtics, not the NBA player. They're saying Marcus Smart, known as Muwap, 22. They were charged with murder in aid of racketeering and federal firearm violation and assaults in aid of racketeering. And we do know Mama Duck said the one who died, you feel me? I'm not gonna say how he died, but the one who ain't here no more, rest in peace to him. According to Mama Duck, he was one of the shooters as well. Allegedly, we're gonna say. That's what she said. But she said that's what the feds told her. Let me clarify that. And Mama Duck didn't say it, but she said the feds told her that on that video that she did that's famous now. Now, you seen a statement from the U.S. Attorney Office in Northern Illinois. He said that the 5 men who basically said they were members of Oblock Street Gang, they publicly claimed responsibilities for act of violence in Chicago and used social media and music to increase their criminal enterprise. Remember, this was they're saying. Now, before I continue reading this, I need y'all to hit that like button, hit that notification bell. Come rock out with the most winningest team out here, man. IsmokeHiphop Live. Now, let's clarify some things and get back to what the reality of all this situation is. You feel what I'm saying? You got videotapes and leaked things like this being spoken of.
Down if the count 1 and count 2 is death or life imprisonment, and serious if you're flying under 3142 F2A. On the latter, I note at the start that there is a presumption of detention in this case on the basis of risk of flight under 3142 E3B, because counts 2, 5, and 7 allege a violation of 18 United States Code 924C. Ultimately, count 2 is 924J1, but built in the allegation of count 2 as a violation of 924C. So there's a presumption that that there's a risk of non-appearance in this case. And Your Honor, I proffer to you at the start that all of the factors under 3142G weigh in favor of detention in this case. I'll just go through them in order. Under 3142G1, the nature and circumstances of this offense involve a crime of violence. It's a heinous crime. It's a murder in count 1, and assault with a deadly weapon, 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. One person was murdered, Mr. Weekly, who's set forth in the indictment. Victim 1 and victim 2 were also shot during the course of this murder. Mr. Weekly was fired at least 38 times in broad daylight, 4:26 p.m. on August 4th, standing in line outside of a business on Oak Street. Victim 1 and victim 2 were each also shot a number of times throughout the course of that assault. So the nature and circumstances of this offense, again, are crime of violence, and crimes of violence in furtherance of a racketeering enterprise that's identified and described in the indictment as a racketeering enterprise that engages in.
I mean, just even putting it as a racketeering enterprise lets you furthermore know what they want to do with this situation, what they got going with this situation, bro. That's like, you don't have to like the situation, but you got what you got now. Now let's read this again, bro. Now, well, not again, the second half. It says a statement from the U.S. Attorney Office said the 5 men who it said were members of the Oblock Street Gang. They called them Oblock Street Gang. We just called them a neighborhood they represent. But according to them, they want to call these dudes a gang. They going out their way to keep repeatedly calling them a gang, gang, gang. And no pun intended. Now, they saying basically publicly claim responsibilities of acts of violence in Chicago and use social media. But they trying to put all these type of ties to the guys. They saying the Oblock gang violently protected its territories on the south side of Chicago and allegedly engaged in numerous acts of violence. The statement said including the murder in August 2020 of FBG Duck, whose real name was Carlton Weekly. Weekly, 26, and 2 other people were shot in the upscale community of Gold Coast. Weekly was fatally shot in the chest and groin and the neck, police said. He had released music on the Sony imprint Columbia and rapped often about gun violence. That's what they're saying. Liggins, and that's messed up for them to say that about, you feel me, Duck as well, or any of these guys. Like, they already put the case where it could be. Now, the murder count carries a minimum sentence of life in prison and a maximum sentence of the death penalty, prosecutors said. So, yeah, folks in them, be wary of what's going on. They trying to get, everybody in a serious way like that, man. Look, all I can tell you at the end of the day is love your family, love your kids. Stay blessed, gang.